It's hatching day, and your eggs are overdue. What now? There's a test for that. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to differentiate what this test is and what this test is not. There is a test out there that is called the edible floating egg test or something like that. And what that test does is it determines whether or not your egg is edible. So if you have some eggs sitting around in your refrigerator that are maybe 2 or 3 months old and you want to determine whether or not they're still edible, you get yourself a bowl of water, you put your egg in the water, and if it sinks, it's edible. If it floats, it's not. That is not what this test is. This test is for eggs that are fertile. And we have a hen that has been sitting on these eggs for 23 days now, and they have not hatched. What I want to do is determine whether or not these eggs are still viable eggs. Is there a possibility that a chick is still going to hatch out of these? And if you're thinking, well, it takes 21 days for a chicken egg to hatch, and we're at day 23, obviously they're not viable. Actually, 21 days is something that the egg industry came up with, because if you stick eggs in an incubator and you have a constant temperature with a constant humidity level, then 21 days under ideal circumstances is how long it takes for a chicken egg to hatch. However, when you have eggs that a hen is taking care of, you don't always have ideal conditions all the time, because that hen is going to be up off of her nest, getting food, getting water, and the temperature on those eggs are going to be up and down. And so it's actually not uncommon for chicken eggs that are raised by hens to take longer than 21 days to hatch. I have seen it, the longest that I have seen it actually, for a chicken egg to hatch and the chicken inside to actually survive is 25 days. So we are at 23 days now. If the eggs have no chance of hatching over the next 2 days, then I don't want to continue wasting the hen's time sitting on eggs that will never hatch. And so that is what this test will determine for me. It will determine whether or not these eggs are viable. It will not tell me whether or not a chicken will hatch or that a chicken will not hatch out. It will just tell me, is that egg dead or is it still viable, and do I still have a chance? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to get yourself a bowl of water, and the water needs to be deep enough so that the egg can sink or swim, so to speak. The water temperature needs to be between 100 and 105 degrees. You don't want cold water, you don't want hot water, you're not trying to boil the egg or anything like that. You want it at the same temperature that an incubator would keep it, or close to it. Then you want to take your egg, and the first thing you want to do before you stick it in the water is you actually want to inspect the outside shell. It cannot be compromised in any way. If there's a crack in it, if there's a chip in it, especially around where the air pocket might be, you do not want to submerge that egg in water. If the eggshell is compromised in any way and you submerge it in water, water could get inside that shell. If there's a live chick in there, it'll drown that chick. Also, I think this might go without saying, but it really doesn't pay dividend to do this test before 21 days. Okay, if you want to do it at day 21 or day 22, that's fine, just to see which eggs might be viable and which ones are definitely not. But if you're doing it before 21 days, it's best to just let those eggs run their course for the 21 days and then check. So next thing you want to do is, maybe you don't have to put it in water. You can just tap on the eggshell and then listen. And what you're listening for is any sort of sounds. You want to feel for movement inside the egg. Now, this egg I already know is not viable. This is a dead egg. And you don't want to do this by any means. You don't want to take the egg and shake it around. But just from moving it from the nest box over to here, I felt something move in there. And for an egg that is 23 days old, that isn't right. And so I know right off the bat, without sticking this in the water, this is probably a dead egg. And when I stick it in the water, it's probably going to float on me. All right, so I've already tapped all of the eggs and I've listened, and 2 of them seem okay. 1 of them, as I said earlier, seems like it's got problems, so I'm going to stick that one in first. And what we're looking for is if the egg floats like a bobber without weights, it's a dead egg. And the reason for that is because the membranes inside have actually ruptured and the egg has dehydrated, and that makes a very buoyant egg. Okay, so what we're looking for here is we're actually looking for the egg to sit about 85% below the water line and about 15 to 20% above the water line. And this one here is actually riding just a little bit too high in the water. So this egg here, I'm not actually going to put back in the nest box with the hen because I'm pretty certain that that one is not viable anymore. So I'm just going to actually set that aside. Now the second one. All right, now this is actually a little bit closer to what we're going to be looking for in this test with a viable egg. And what we see here is an egg that sits primarily below the water line but doesn't sink. All right, so this egg is looking pretty good. It's giving me exactly what it is that I want to see here. So I will take this egg and I will stick it back in the nest box with mother hen. And I will probably allow her to sit on these eggs for another 48 hours or so, give her out to about the end of day 25 and see what happens. If nothing happens at that point, what I'll probably do is there is a technique that you can use to assist a chick in helping her get out of her shell, but it's very time consuming, very labor intensive, and it has a very low success rate. So if there is a live chick in there but she's just too weak to get out, hopefully I might be able to help her out, but chances are by day 25 the odds are going to be against her. So this is the third and final egg that we have here, and that egg is looking pretty good too. It is primarily below the water line, as I said earlier, and about 15-20% of it is still above the water. So this egg as well, I will stick back in with mother hen for another 48 hours, and we'll see what we get. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to look me up on Facebook and Pinterest. Until then.